Hey everyone, Spax here, and just so you know, this is not a fake account. I am officially Gamer Spax, so this isn't someone impersonating me or anything. This channel's basically, I just got tired of having a number in my name, but anyway, this channel's basically going to be used for blogs. It may also be used to promote some videos on the GameToon Zone, which, for the record, I'm no longer the sole owner of, but anyway. I wouldn't expect promos here too much. Most of all, they're going to be on a different channel that me and my friends are going to run, which you'll see some other time. But anyway, the reason I'm making this blog is to basically reintroduce people to who I am, who may just be getting to know me, may know me from my past. Basically to, clear up my mistakes and, clear up everything that's happened in the past, give you my side of it, what happened, and, apologize for what I'm guilty of. And if you're expecting me to be teary-eyed or something, I've already done that to some people, so I don't see any reason why I have to keep repeating that. I'm just going to say things as they are, and I'm just going to be as honest as possible. I guess the first thing I should probably talk about is the Sonic activism. Let me just say this. I was an asshole, I was a monster, and this is my biggest regret. I did not respect the opinions of anyone, and I was basically a complete asshole towards the entire voice cast. And I don't know. Basically, I think everyone knows how this Jason Griffith thing went. And I regret that more than anything. The good things I can say, though. I have made amends with some of the voice cast. Some of them I'm actually acquaintances with now. And I'm actually on good terms with Jason. Heck, I'm actually a fan of his now. I actually came to like his performance as Sonic in Sonic Unleashed. And I loved it in Sonic and the Black Knight, despite that being a mediocre game. And if anyone's wondering, do I still have the same opinion on Sonic Next Gen? Yes, I still think it's a piece of crap, but if you like the game, that's your deal. I fully respect that. Now I'm actually going to talk about the DMCAs, but before I can actually get into detail about this, I need to give some backstory. Some of the backstory is, people saying I tried to sue everyone, which, no, that's not true. It's only basically true with two people. And in this entire rant, I'm only going to say two people I don't like by name. The first thing was on a matter which I really did not have much authority on, but I just went batshit insane and just lost it. So I was basically a psycho. The second one was a little bit more valid, so I don't know. This is the one I'm going to give a name on. This was Rich Kuda, the guy who made that crappy 2D Sonic movie. I was originally going to do the voice of Sonic for him. He started treating me like crap. And he pretty much came off in a way that made it sound like if I don't devote 100% to him, even when, I wasn't feeling well, he basically just wasn't going to keep me around. This caused me to make a mistake on my end. I actually got sick on one day, and I didn't tell him this. I told him I would try to work as soon as I finished up something. Basically to convince him to let me stay on, because I felt like if I told him I was sick, that he was going to let me go no matter what. Though that was my mistake. Then he just instantly said he was going to let me go, but I managed to get him to agree to pretty much let me stay on. But he was trying to get this additional director who, at the time, I was not on good terms with, because this person did something that almost got one of my friends in really big trouble. I'm not going to say who. And at first I thought he understood this. I spent all of that day and the next day helping him. But the day after that, he started this bullshit up all over again, despite me not doing any of the things he said. And he was expecting me to believe them. In fact, this guy bullshits a lot of people, so not really surprising. But yeah, he said he was going to let me and this other person go who was... In fact, it turns out this other person was the one who convinced him. And this other person was actually the person who was originally going to direct me, and as I said, I was not on good terms with. I guess kind of a conspiracy was being caused? I don't know. But when I found out he lied to me about firing both me and this other person, I lost it, because I went through enough shit earlier that year, some of which involved me being betrayed by someone I really trust, ending up in a psych ward because people thought I was suicidal when I wasn't, which you can already imagine the madness that caused. And of course, being betrayed by another person I'll say by name in a moment. But yeah, I lost it, and I basically made the lawsuit threat on him too, but again, I was being psychotic, I was being insane, so I was not really in a sane state of mind, so I fucked up. I handled that very poorly. I was not in the right. But at the same time, this guy did screw me over, so I had every right to be angry as well. And one thing I actually want to mention that he really screwed me over on, he lied to me about a person once and almost caused me to have them commit suicide because I, believed what Rich Kuda said about this person. That has traumatized the hell out of me. And I'm never going to let it go, and I have every reason not to let it go. If you almost get someone killed, and they're innocent, you're not going to be able to let that go. Now, I'm just going to say, beyond what I've said, please do not go after Rich Kuda. Please do not do anything to him, because he is not doing anything right now. And as long as it stays that way, I think we're good. Me and some other people are giving him a chance to try to mend his ways, and I want to make sure we can let him stick to that. Besides, if he's antagonized too much, he could do something that both not only he would regret, but that we could regret. And that's also a point I'm going to get to in a moment. But yeah, that fact alone is pretty much why I brought up his name. The one thing, however, I did not threaten a lawsuit on, and this seems to be the biggest thing that people use as ammo on me, was the claim that people thought I was trying to sue a 13-year-old girl, which, no, I wasn't. This was pretty much a huge misunderstanding that even I wasn't happy about. For this kid, she did something, it was pretty severe. I knew her phone number, she gave it to me in the past, but I figured me calling a parent would not be a good idea because she probably wouldn't want to waste time with me. So I figured, make it a parent-to-parent chat. That could be a lot more reasonable. And just keep in mind, if this is someone who is an adult, I myself will get involved, I won't get a parent involved. But since this is dealing with a kid, I felt this needed a parent's touch. So I was trying to make sure we could be subtle about this. However, my mom said something that was inadvisable and something that I wasn't really happy she actually said this way. She basically said what the kid did was suable. I mean, she used those exact words. It's suable. I wasn't happy she said that. At all. By saying this, she kind of made it sound like we were trying to sue the kid, which we weren't. And ever since she said that, this kid believed it, spread it, and therefore everyone else bought it. And that's pretty much where this whole lawsuit thing began, and just, Jesus Christ. I think you can already get the idea from here. So, just clarifying this, that was a mistake my mom said. I did not support it. And let me just also say that my mom was not trying to cause a lawsuit or anything. She was just trying to note the seriousness of what the kid did to the mother. She was trying to make this a civil parent-to-parent chat. I'm still not happy that my mom said it this way, but still, nonetheless, she did try her best to reasonably explain things. So I guess shit happens. But, what's done is done, so... And, as this video is about, just getting the past out of the way, and we gotta move on. And now I'm pretty much gonna get to the big thing I want to talk about, and this involves the other person I'm gonna say by name. Nima Safai, aka Guardian Earth 128. And if you're wondering why I'm talking about him, it's basically because he's pretty much where this whole shitstorm began. Where this whole thing began is... Nima made a video that was basically the same as James Rolfe's Fuck Reel, which was in his Volume 1 Angry Video Game Nerd DVD. Ever since that Fuck Reel was made, I saw a lot of other people making their own, and it wore out pretty quickly. The moment I saw Nima make one, and keep in mind, he and I were friends at the time, or so I thought, so... I wasn't really happy when he made one too. I mean, if he wanted to make one, that was his own deal. I just didn't like the video. So I just basically said... I basically just jokingly said, Armake is the bigger master of fuck. And, I just jokingly said that. Because someone made a fuck reel of Armake's videos, and it was probably the biggest fuck reel I saw. After I just saw the ones from James Rolfe and Armake 21, it wore thin really quickly. Yeah, but despite me making a joking comment, I wasn't trying to say anything bad about Nima's video or anything. Nima's friends flipped their shit. So because of this, I talked to him on AIM, and I was asking him if he could just please tell his friends to relax, I meant no harm, but he flipped his own shit. He was basically acting like I had no right to not like his video, so yeah, he was basically being a fascist. And it just erupted into this huge fight and argument. It grew so big that neither of us was being rational. I was the first one who came to realize this, so I just tried to calmly tell him, look, neither of us are in a right state of mind at this moment, so let's just take a couple of days apart from each other, and then we can talk things out then calmly. And I was hoping he'd be willing to do that so, no one would do any harm to each other. And I told him this. As I said, I explicitly told him this. What does he do? He basically sends his friends out to attack me, saying like, oh, he didn't do anything wrong, which, bullshit. He basically threw a hissy fit because I just simply didn't like his video, and he was saying like I had to like his video. And I kept trying to tell his friends, I want to work things out with him, but for right now, I think he and I should just take some time apart so we can calm down. But his friends wouldn't do this. One of which, I'm not going to say by name, is also someone I actually did betray. People say I betrayed a lot of people. This is one of 2 people I did betray. I came to realize this and am now currently friends with again. I mean, I apologized to him and everything, so yeah, to people I actually did betray, I have tried to make up for my wrongs just to get that out of the way. And this is a friend of mine who can vouch for that. But again, I'm not going to say who, but this person and a few others were antagonizing the hell out of me, and I just got no peace. But I just tried to tell them, please just leave me alone. I'll deal with this in a couple of days. And I tried to tell them that I want a couple of days apart so I could work things out with Nima then. What does Nima do in a couple of days? He basically makes a journal attacking the hell out of me on DeviantArt when I wasn't even trying to hurt him. I didn't want to embarrass him. I didn't want to humiliate him. I wanted to work things out with him. But no, he antagonizes the hell out of me, and this is basically where the shitstorm against my reputation began. Because ever since he did this, people have been attacking me left and right, and it just grew and grew from there. In the journal, he was basically calling me an opinion Nazi just because I didn't like his video and I was criticizing him for how he handled a few other things. I wasn't trying to be against his feelings on them. I was just criticizing how he handled them, which I guess is ironic because I've handled a lot of things during this time poorly myself, many of which I'm addressing right now. But he was basically insulting me, being dishonest about me. I mean, he and I did eventually talk this out and we were trying to be friends again, but something else happened. What happened next was that there were these 2 people. One of which who was basically antagonizing the hell out of me and a friend of mine just because we simply preferred the new Pokemon cast. And this guy was basically a fascist against anyone who supported the new cast, calling them a traitor to the original cast. And he basically said anything negative we said about the original cast was, spreading rumors about them and lies, which, no, we had evidence, we had facts, and some of these were just opinions. Like, he said we were basically betraying Veronica Taylor for something she did, or lying about her, which, no, we weren't. We just lost, let me just say this. I love Veronica Taylor. She's a great voice actress. I think she's a pretty good person. I just lost a little bit of respect for one thing she did. Doesn't mean I hate her. But he kept twisting all this information around, and he kept going to Nima, who had nothing to do with this, trying to force him to get involved with this. And here's the sad thing. It was working. Nima was getting involved with something that wasn't his business. I kept trying to ask Nima, could he not get involved with this? Could he not respond to this person? He kept saying he would try not to, but he kept doing it. He was giving into this person's bullshit. So that didn't help things. And keep in mind, Nima was apparently supposed to be friends with me at the time, so what kind of message does it give when someone who is supposed to be your friend instantly believes something someone else said without even trying to get your side of the story? Yeah, you can see why I'm no longer friends with this guy. But it actually got even worse with this one other person who was apparently this huge fanboy of mine at the time, and I kept asking him could he please give me my space. He kept saying he would, but he never did so. It got to the point where I eventually had to block him on DeviantArt because he wouldn't leave me alone. I wouldn't get any peace from him. I also had to remove him from my instant messages because he was contacting me there constantly, and he was even trying to call me when it wasn't a good time. And you can see how out of hand this got. He was basically treating me like, oh, I'm not a person, I'm just a figure, so I have to be nice to everyone. No, it doesn't work like that. So when I blocked him, he constantly kept block evading by finding any comments he could of mine that were on someone else's page to respond to me on. And he was even trying to get Nima involved with this when, again, it wasn't his business, but the sad thing was, Nima was getting involved when he shouldn't have. And no matter how hard I tried to explain things to Nima, he wouldn't listen. It eventually got to the point where I had to report this person for block evading. However, I gave him a warning to give himself a chance to not get banned. Because I told him, you respond to me one more time, I blocked you, so if you respond to me one more time, I will report you for block evading. What did he do? He responded, so he basically left me with no choice if I was going to get any peace. Afterwards, he kept ban evading by making account after account after account. And what did he keep doing? He kept responding to me, so he did the stupid thing that would keep getting him banned. Because he did valid things that would get a person banned from DeviantArt. I gave him a chance. He blew his chance. And Nima was believing every bit of bullshit this guy said, saying he didn't do anything wrong, which, no, he did do something wrong. And Nima, because he wouldn't listen to me, and I had the authority to do this if this guy wasn't going to leave me alone, Nima was basically antagonizing me for this, and he eventually spreaded this shit. This is pretty much where I officially broke off my friendship with Nima. I tried to do it peacefully, though, just saying we should go our separate ways. But no! He went even more apeshit crazy towards me than ever. And when he spread all this shit, no one tried to get my side of the story. Everyone just instantly believed him and antagonized the hell out of me. No one tried to listen to me. No one tried to get my side of the story. When I tried to explain things or I tried to ignore things, people kept getting worse and worse on this. So, I did not get a single bit of peace. When I tried to explain myself, people still didn't listen. People just antagonized me more. It was driving me to the breaking point. In fact, it did drive me to the breaking point. It was basically, let me put it in the words of Al.
When I first joined, I was a new fag. I had my heart on my sleeve. I thought everybody I met on YouTube was my friend. Oh, they're my friend. They'll never turn their back on me or be a dick to me or nope.
And that's pretty much how I felt. I also had my heart on my sleeve, thought everyone on YouTube was my friend, and I took it very personally when one of them turned on me. But I took it more personally when Nima turned on me, as well as some of his friends who I was also friends with. I'm not going to say any of them by name, though. But all that happening, and so many other people turning on me, and no one trying to get my side of the story, even other people trying to turn my other friends against me, I never felt so alone in my life. That was the most alone I've ever felt in my life. I was scared. I was depressed. No matter what I did to try to, convince people that I didn't mean to do any harm, no one would listen. Though then again, I will admit, considering how most of my videos were back then, it was like, me raging, yelling, and insulting and everything. And then again, I don't know if I did any insulting here or not. Well, probably a little, but then again, meh. But, the extent I did it in my old videos, I think I can understand why no one listened to me. Though then again, that kind of begs the question, why did people listen to Nima? Because he yelled at the top of his lungs, he was insulting. Heck, he betrayed me 2 times. I already mentioned the journal time. The other time was when I had this voice switch plan, and, for the Sonic actors, because, okay, if the 4Kids cast was under contract and we can't get the original cast back, then, okay, if what matters is who fits the characters, and we want just actors who, work for them, why don't we just select people within 4Kids and discuss it with, Sega and 4Kids? But no, it turns out everyone just wanted the original cast. No one cared if they were good or not. Which, in all honesty, the original cast wasn't that great. I'm not saying they're all bad, and they are pretty good actors. It's just, I don't think they were as good as people thought they were. I don't think they were as good as I thought they were. In all honesty, I think the 4Kids cast is better now. But yeah, I just figured, Jason doesn't fit as Sonic. Maybe someone like Mike Sinter-Nicholas or Sean Schemmel can do it. Or, Amy Pallant doesn't fit as Tails. Maybe Amy Birnbaum. I don't know. And yet someone actually said, and yet this also started the thing with, there were people who were just, not even talking to me about this. They were just attacking me about this. Go like, we did this for you. Or dishonestly saying I'm only doing this to get rid of Jason Griffith, which, well, at the time, I still didn't like Jason as Sonic. I grew to like him as Shadow. In fact, at this point, I think he's actually the best Shadow. But yeah, I actually mentioned the video, I believe I did. If I'm wrong, if I'm mistaken, please forgive me. Same goes with anything else I may have said earlier in this video. Sorry, I don't have the best memory. I'm saying everything to the best I can recollect. But I for the most part, recall saying Jason Griffith could stay as Shadow, because I liked him as Shadow. But no, someone said I just did this because I wanted Jason gone, which, no, I didn't. I just figured if we really... I mean, I still didn't care for the 4Kids cast that much at times, but I knew they were good actors. We just had to find out who they could fit. But no one cared about that. They just wanted the original cast, and Nima... this is a horrible story. Well, at least on my end. Nima talked to me on Skype a while ago. It was Skype or AIM. We were talking via text. I forget which messenger it was, so forgive me, but either way, we were talking on Instant Messenger via text. And he tried to talk about his fears and everything with me, and I told people, look, if they still want to call for the original cast, I'm not against that. I just think this is a good backup because, think about it. If Sega really does have a contract of 4Kids and we can't get the original cast back, I think this would be a good plan, because if what matters is getting, voice actors who fit, this can help. And, he acted like he understood me and everything, and he said, oh, okay. But no, he lied to me. And he made this video that not just disagreeing with me, but basically attacking me for it. He was insulting me for the idea and everything. That was the second time he betrayed me. At that point, I lost all my trust in him, and I still talked to him just because I didn't want to have him as an enemy, but I didn't consider myself a friend of his anymore. But as he was still going on the side of people who I was against and were trying to hurt me, I just wanted to peacefully separate from him. I didn't want to become his enemy. I just wanted us to be neutral. But no, he just goes on attacking me more than ever, spreading more stuff than ever. He never left me alone. So then again, I think it's his friends who are on his side who really never left me alone the most. But this is why I have so much hostility against the guy. I mean, it's weakened over time. I don't care as much, though granted I do make a show that makes fun of him and his friends, but then again, I make fun of my friends and myself in that show too, so, and as I said, people aren't supposed to take it seriously, but that's aside the point. But, on the other side, just on the grounds of, I guess, revenge or something, I don't really care that much anymore, which is good, and I guess at least the good thing is, most people realize what a jackass this guy was. They realized that he was a rage fag himself. They realized that he was irrational himself. They realized that he did not respect anyone's opinions. They realized, which is ironic because if you don't respect my opinion, then go fuck yourself. And, they realized that he was an elitist. Because, Nima actually did this to, I think, a few more people. Or some other people just, started seeing more of the stuff this guy did and just said, you know what, fuck this. Why did we support this guy? So, I guess at least that's something good that came out of this, but at the time, this was just pushed so far, and I felt so alone, because I was getting no peace. No one was giving me a chance, no one was giving me compassion, no one even wanted to help me. I just felt so alone. And I think this is what led to the worst part happening, which is what ended turning me into probably the bigger bad guy. A while after all this shit to me was happening, and again, as I said, just to repeat one more time, I did not handle how I tried to solve it well at all. Or at least not as well as I thought, so my bad there, my fault. So, and the people who criticize me for that, they're right. So, nothing against those people. Just against the people who didn't try to get my side of everything and just instantly believed another person. But anyway, there was this person who made a couple of videos using some of my content and slandering me as a pedophile, all because of the fact that I drew pictures of Cream the Rabbit being kidnapped by my friends. And here's another thing I want to clarify. Those pictures. Cream the Rabbit gets kidnapped all the time in the games. That was the joke. The other joke was that she was the cute character, so I want to put those two things together. And if you're wondering why she was tied up, because that's the main thing people seem to think this is sexual about, which... yeah, this happened in Saturday morning cartoons all the time and still happens in some modern day cartoons. So, I really don't get how people connect that solely as sexual, because that was not my intent. I was basing it on the fact that when you see a damsel in distress or something, they're usually tied up or something. That's how it's been in the 80s cartoons. That's how it's been in the 90s cartoons. I grew up in those years and I watched cartoons in those years. So, that's basically what the homage was to. But the joke was that Cream gets kidnapped all the time in the games, and she's the cute one. She's kidnapped in Sonic Advance 3, She's kidnapped in Sonic Rush. She's kidnapped in Sonic Battle. And while technically she's not actually kidnapped in Shadow the Hedgehog, she's just lost, I'm just going to count it as such because she's still kind of technically a damsel in distress. So, yeah, she's probably the most kidnapped character I can think of. And, well, actually, no, I think she's on par with Amy, because, let me think, Sonic CD, Sonic Adventure 2. Was there any other game she was kidnapped in? Well, I can't think of any off... Oh, wait, yeah, Sonic Riders. At the ending of the hero story of Sonic Riders, she was kidnapped. So, yeah, Amy's been kidnapped about 4 times, and Cream's been kidnapped about 4 times. But I just noticed it more of Cream, because it was happening much more often. Because ever since her debut, she was getting kidnapped. Granted, Amy got kidnapped in her debut too, but it was happening more often with Cream. So, I just felt like making fun of that. I want to make fun of the fact that she's always getting kidnapped, and I want to make fun of the fact that she was the cute character, so she was basically getting kidnapped based off her cuteness. Nothing sexual was added into those pictures. Nothing sexual was intended by those pictures. In fact, the thought of anything sexual being in those pictures makes me gag, because I fucking hate pedophiles. There was pedophile abuse in my family a long time ago. I'm not going to say the whole story, but this gives me the biggest reason to hate pedophiles beyond anyone. In fact, I had to deal with a pedophile a long time ago who was lusting after a family member of mine. So don't call me a fucking pedophile just because, oh, I draw someone getting kidnapped when I'm not even drawing anything sexual about it. I mean, Jesus. In fact, this seems to be some common slander on the internet. Like, whenever anyone has a chance because they hate someone, they'll slander someone as a pedophile. That's actually a crime. I mean, slander is actually considered a crime, so... yeah, way to go, you guys. But... yeah. Now that I got that out of the way. The people who made those videos, and let me just as I said, it had my content, and I just lost it at this point because, as I said, I cannot stand being called a pedophile. I cannot stand anything about pedophiles. That's where I blew my fuse. That's where I snapped. That's where I just broke down and lost it. So, do you know what I did? I sent a DMCA report on those videos because I just had enough of being pushed around like this. If people were going to treat me like this, I was going to push back. Although, on the fair side of this one, if you're slandering me as a pedophile, then I'm sorry, that's not fair use of my content. That's slander, that's criminal, so there's nothing fair use about it. It's not fair criticism, it's not fair parody, it's defamation of character, and that's not fair use, so... those videos, I did have the authority to report. You are allowed to report stuff like that if they have your content and it's not fair use, which, as I've explained, those ones were not. And yet that's when people really started the shitstorm, and of course Al made those 2 videos, and I think it's because of those 2 videos that people were attacking me more and more, and I just said, fuck you, YouTube, and left. And things were just worse for me than ever. Though granted, this is actually what made me the villain at this point, because anytime anyone made a video on me, no matter what it was, if it had even the smallest amount of my content, I was going to report it. I just didn't care about anything. I was going to report it. So, yeah. That was horrible. Because I thought I was in the right. I thought I had the authority to do this. I thought none of these videos were fair use. I thought they were all... but no, I was wrong. Many of them were fair use. Many of them were fair criticism. Many of them were fair parody. There were some exceptions, like some videos copied as a whole or actual slander, but for the most part, it turns out the videos I thought I was in the right on, I wasn't. I was reporting videos that were fair use, and I didn't ever think about it. It actually took some people who actually did reach out to me, actually did want to help me, and actually did try to calmly explain things to me, and actually did tell me to realize this is the internet, it's not worth it, and, you know, it gave me a chance to calm down and think about myself. That's actually where I start to try to think about how I can amend my ways. And I think the moment where me and Al actually apologized to each other for what we did, you know, me for the DMCAs and the Sonic stuff, and him for, you know, attacking me without getting my side of the story, I think that's where this really started to change, where I really, really want to better myself. And, you know, with more friends who I made over the time, like, you know, Mike Maverick, who many people remember as the SRS or Super Robot Soldier OG, he reformed himself, and he and I became good friends, and I guess I just felt like if he can reform, you know, I should try even harder, so... It took friends like these to really want to make me better myself. Granted, I still like being this obnoxious person who likes to make fun of his friends as well as some other people, but I don't try to do the stuff I did in the past. But the thing is, and this is the problem, while I did end up being a villain for what I did, I didn't do it without reason, because I was doing it because I was trying to protect myself. I was attacked left and right, it made me snap, no one would ever give me a chance or leave me alone, so when you're under this much pressure, when you're being harassed this much, it's basically... I wrote something about this, hold on. Okay, basically, here's what I wrote. When the whole world is against you and refusing to listen to anything you have to say, it's probably going to make you feel bitter, angry, and vengeful instead of rational, calm, and moral. It's even worse when someone really wrongs you and no one takes your side, even when the wrong done to you was really horrible. When something like that happens and no one is on your side, that's really going to leave some massive mental scars and won't help anyone's sanity or rationality. When you are pushed and pushed, it's all going to possibly lead you to push back worse. So while you may end up being a monster in the end due to the people who pushed you, do any of these people ever think how they were the monsters that caused them to create the bigger monster? The stains of blood run deep, and all the original monsters ever do is try to wash it off and pretend it was never there or act ignorant to it. Well, as far as I see, the bigger monster they created is the karma biting them back in the ass. They are just too blind and stupid to see it or even acknowledge it. That's basically how I feel about this situation. People kept pushing me, people kept harassing me, people kept basically, I might get flack for this, but cyberbullying me. And I'm sorry, but I kind of do legitimately feel like a victim of cyberbullying because of how this all was. Though granted, I did end up being the bigger bully in the end. Except I already explained it, but this is basically why I did what I did. This is how I felt. I felt so antagonized that I just wanted to push back and protect myself. So, yeah. That's the best way I can put it. I mean, with the Sonic activism, I have no excuses. I did all that my own, so I'm 100% guilty. But even though the mistakes I made on the DMCAs are still my mistakes, and while I did not handle everything well before that, the people who antagonized me, that was their own fault. I did not try to do anything to them. They attacked me out of, selfish desire, or, I don't know, some kind of ego, some of superiority complex. That's how I see it. But, yeah. I just want to make this video just so I can, get this out of the way once and for all, because there's people who still talk about this, there's people who still think I'm like this, when I have people who can vouch I'm not. And I have been wanting to make up for the things I'm actually guilty of for a long time, and I have been able to with some people. But my big problem here is that people still claim I'm guilty of stuff that I'm not guilty of, a few things I've already mentioned, and that is getting really annoying. And people are expecting me to be tearful or horribly regretful, which, I'm sorry, but that's not going to happen. I've already kind of been like that in the past, and what's in the past is in the past. I've tried to make my amends for this already. I'm just here to try to explain what's been happening, so that, now that this is all over, most of us can probably move on. I mean, granted, that's not how everyone's going to feel, and there's still going to be some who are jerks about this, but seeing the people who act like that, I really don't feel that bad about it, because, quite honestly, they're much more psychotic. But, yeah. I just hope this video cleared some stuff up. I just hope, people are willing to give me another chance, and if I make any more mistakes, please just don't try to attack me to high hell for it. Maybe try to talk to me about it, try to give me a chance to make amends, or, I don't know, let me go talk to my own friends about it. Maybe that can help. Because, I'm probably still going to make mistakes every once in a while. Hopefully not as big of mistakes as I did before, and I work even harder trying to make sure I don't make these kinds of mistakes, but people make mistakes every once in a while, so I'm just saying, anything like this happens, just give me a chance. Because, if I'm not antagonized as much as I used to be, things could probably get better instead of worse. I mean, heck, good examples. Me and my friends, we gave Mike a chance, and he actually got better. People have been giving Al a chance, and he's been getting better. Some of these people have been giving me a chance, and I've been getting better. I mean, there's other people I know who've done wrong in the past, serious wrong, and they've been given a chance, and they've been getting better, so I think that's kind of the message of this whole thing. But yeah, I mean, once more, I will say this. DMCA's, I apologize to those who were actually in the right. Sonic activism, I apologize to anyone I got involved with this. And I've already apologized to Jason and a few others, and I am on good terms with them. So, that's the best I can leave it. And let me just say this, I guess just to end this. I'm not going to apologize for stuff I'm not guilty of. Keep saying, oh, we should apologize for it anyway. It doesn't work like that, and this is something that really irked me. Nima actually said, oh, it's honorable to do this. No, it's not. Because, do you know why it's not honorable? Because you're feeding this person's ego when they've done something wrong and they don't learn anything from it. There's nothing honorable about it. No, if they're the ones who've done something wrong, they need to apologize, not the one who was wronged. Because that's bullshit. I'm only here to apologize what I am wrong for and to explain the past. So let's just leave it at that, please. And if people are wondering why I have the likes, dislikes, and comments disabled, it's because I really don't want to have to talk about this beyond this video. There's a few touchy issues I had to address because of this. And, well, it's been going on for years. I've been trying to make amends for a while. I shouldn't have to talk about this beyond this video. In fact, I was hoping I wouldn't have to make this video at all, but since people are still going apeshit about this, I just want to try to settle a few things, and I'm hoping enough people are willing to move on and hopefully just try to start anew of things. And also, before anyone tries to twist anything around, I'm not trying to say other people are at fault for what I've done wrong. I was trying to explain why I've done what I've done. I didn't do it for no reason as some people are claiming. People drove me to the breaking point, and that caused me to make a lot of mistakes. But nonetheless, the mistakes are my own, not the other people's. That's all I'm trying to explain. And with that said, I hope you enjoy my future vlogs here. I'm going to make one later too. I'm probably going to have one that introduces who I am now, and we'll see how everything goes. So, till next time, Game and Tune fans, this is Spax.